Welcome to Magnet Marketers, our weekly live show where we break down the head, heart, and hand approach to building sustainable growth in your business. During each episode, we share actual client marketing best practice examples, strategies, and tactics that will help you generate real results. Our belief? A magnet always works better than being a bullhorn to attract, retain, and build your brand. Ready to dive into this week's Relationship Marketing Training Tuesday? Well, let's get started. Here's your host, Mike Gingerich and Jessika Phillips. All right, yay. Hello, and welcome to this week, Magnet Marketers. It's Training Tuesday Live, and today we're going to be talking all about marketing predictions for 2023. Can you believe it? We're already in December, guys, and we're ready to dive into everything that's going to come next year and just how you can prepare for the year to come as a brand. But before we get started, I want you to comment in the comments where you're watching in from live what your predictions are for next year. I know we've been talking about all the changes happening this year. There's been a ton of them, and there's more to come. But if we've not met before, hello. My name is Jessika Phillips with Now Marketing Group and the Relationship Marketing System. And my personal mission is to help you love more, give more, and be more through the art of authentic relating. And my awesome co-host, it's Mike Gingerich. And Mike manages 3 blogs by running, biking, swimming, and traveling. Yeah, that's Mike. He's here in the flesh, though, with us today, talking about all these predictions. How's it going, Mike?
Hey, doing well and shocked. I can't believe final episode of 2022. I mean, where did it go? It was only a little while ago that it was late summer, and we're kind of getting into the fall things, and now last episode. Wow, amazing. I always take a moment to, kind of like I to reflect. As I think back on the year, okay, what transpired, and George has got it, time flies, right? And yeah, I think that when you look at, okay, what was happening early in the year and where we've come now, what's been that journey and where does it go? So yeah, I just knowing this episode was coming, do a little research for it, made me kind of pause and think. But I guess, I don't know, we didn't really script this, but what did you see as 2022's kind of big thing as you kind of reflect back on it now?
Yeah, honestly, like I've loved predictions, and Georgia's spot on, big increase in Web3. But one of the things I love about our team, and one of the things that we always focus on is what's to come, right? And so I look back at honestly like Social Media Week Lima and our themes each year. While next year, Social Media Week Lima 2023 is all about emerge, like brands like just diving in and taking action and owning like who they are at their core. I feel like that's going to be the theme to come. We'll break that down. But looking back, all the themes leading up to it, honestly, is what we've started seeing transpire. So I start back, this was 7 years ago, when Social Media Week Lima had the theme preparing for 2020. And the theme there, which never could I imagined this pandemic and all the stuff that was happening, but it was preparing for marketing in 2020. And that theme for that event was all about brands getting real with who they are and truly kind of embracing how they can build relationships at our core. Of course, everything that Now Marketing Group talks about is relationship marketing, but we really truly broke that down. And then we went from that theme to the human experience, craveable, building a craveable brand. We talked about dark social, and this past year or this year, our theme was, all about Web3 and preparing for the metaverse. And I feel like all those things now are starting to combine to come into fruition about what this year has really been about on building utility, embracing the convergence of relationship authentic marketing mixed with technology, and how you can really combine the two to provide the best experience for your customer. And that's honestly a beautiful thing. Not easy to do, but a beautiful thing if brands can truly get started from the inside out of who they are at their core and get that as their foundation, and then embrace technology to make it easier to build relationships and continue relationships with their customers, whether they're their current customer or people that they're bringing in to be a customer later on.
Experience is truly everything. And it's such a differentiator today, I think. And I was listening to a podcast this week, and it was talking about retail stores. Okay, so
Mhm.
little different than our angle here, but experience was applicable, and it talked about how in the midst of it basically said how there's been huge growth in Bass Pro Shops. How many of you have been inside a Bass Pro Shop, right? Um, it is a experience inside of there. There are multiple things, so and many of them, have there's archery things and fishing things and wall climbing things. And they said, you can buy a sleeping bag anywhere. You don't even have to leave your house. I mean, I could couple clicks of the thumb and buy a sleeping bag, but people go into Bass Pro and they get that there and they stay there and they buy other things, and Bass Pro is doing well because of the experience they provide. And that's kind of what we're talking about in a online world as well.
Absolutely. And I feel as we get into it, and let's just dive in, this is the theme for 2023 is a deepened experience. And it moves beyond just what things that you have in your location, but it moves beyond to know like what's at your core. So if any of you have looked at your like LinkedIn company page, for example, and you look at all the areas that you can update within that company page, you can update like what you believe, like your core values of your company. So like what is your remote, if you have a remote team, like what is your standards with that? What are your like non-negotiables? What kinds of things do you stand behind? And that's what people really want to see. I know, like speaking of Starbucks and experience, people have paid more because for Starbucks because they know when they go in not only what they're getting, but also because they know the standards that Starbucks kind of stands behind. I shared also before on Magnet Marketers about Ben and Jerry's and them promoting and talking about how they hire people and the benefits that they provide to their team. And now my kids are like, I want to buy Ben and Jerry's ice cream because of
Yeah, you did.
XYZ things. People care about that. And overall, the experience that you have when you're purchasing from them, like you just shared about, the Bass Pro Shop. Another one that I just witnessed on LinkedIn that they were sharing, and I honestly I don't remember the brand that provided this, but I do remember like the video that was shared by Unity, and they were sharing on how Web3, which George mentioned, is going to be a big thing. Web3, which is all about co-creating with your customer, that instead of just cooking in your kitchen and a company providing like the recipe for it, you could literally have like this augmented reality experience with saying, okay, here's how much you need to use of the brown sugar. Here's how much you need to use of the vanilla and whatever to create these cookies. And here's where you place it. And you could have this immersive experience as you're baking the cookies to know that you're on the right track before you get started and as you're making them, right? And to be there with you. It's about a brand being there with you, having this experience with their customer at the same
Mm.
time that the customer is ingrained with this brand. So it's taking things to the next level and co-creating with your customer that I feel is key and only going to keep growing as we enter into 2023, whether that's helping you bake cookies and showing you the next steps in the process and experiencing it almost with you, or creating a utility to help you do something faster, smarter, and more immersive than you would if you were just shopping to buy something, right? Like, what sets that apart? Like you said, I can buy a sleeping bag anywhere, but where am I going to want to purchase this based upon the experience that I think I'm going to have with the
Yeah.
companies presented in front of me?
And experience can get very finite and simple
Mhm.
as well. It doesn't have to be necessarily grandiose because I kind of look back and this year one of the things that took off in my own life of purchasing was I love the Shop app and I love Shopify websites because they make it easy for me to purchase with within the Shopify system. Now all basically I put it start typing in my email address. I get prompted in my browser, is this the one you want? Yeah. I put that in and voila, I'm ready to confirm that I want to order. That's a simple but not so simple experience that has been improved, that takes away friction. That I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, I really don't have tolerance for the long checkouts on a e-commerce website.
Amen to that. Lisa says customer service is everything. I purchased skincare from Frey, I think it is pronounced, and one of the bottles leaked, and I emailed them, and the response was quickly and sent me two replacements. And I will continue to buy from this company because of the great experience with them. You're absolutely right. And that's the key. So, when we talked about, like I started at the beginning of talking about Social Media Week Lima and 2020, what's to come. And the prediction was, and this is held true, that people will decide who to work with, company A or B or C, based upon the perceived experience that they believe they will have with a company. And that perceived experience is all about what they are consuming online, meaning the reviews that are left,
Reviews.
what is, the experience of them actually purchasing online, and that experience, as well as just like findability, right? Like, do they even find you online?
Yep.
Because 60% of the buying cycle is over before someone is talking to a representative at a company, and 90% of all buying decisions right now are starting online. So that all matters. So the experience has to be starting first, and this is something that we just had like a team training at Now Marketing Group for the year to come. And we said, you know what, before we make any recommendations, we need to first focus on sensing before we seize. And what we mean by that is sensing first. Who are we as a brand, or who is our customer as a brand? What kind of experience do we want to provide, and who are we providing it for? And if we're sensing this first and lay that foundation, then we can build in those milestone things of how the checkout process should work, how our, not blocking the exit should work, how can we remove friction, all those things, and then seizing on the marketing that's just going to enhance what the experience is already like working with us in the first place, because marketing is only going to enhance what's already there. And that's, I think, the key to remember as we're moving in. Like, it doesn't matter what ad that you can create or how beautiful your imagery is, it's only going to enhance what's already at your core of who you are as a company. So you have to get that right first. And that's honestly my biggest prediction for 2023, which sounds kind of like a cop out, but it's not. It's the biggest thing I think that's missed, is that you really have to say, how can we as a brand outcare the competition? Like, truly outcare the competition. And CARE, of course, is our acronym on how do we capture attention? How do we articulate our message? How do we build relationships for repeat and referral business? And how do we provide that exceptional experience? But that has to be the core first, in understanding how do we show up in the first place, and what are we here to do, before you start thinking of all the extras to do so.
Tremendous, tremendous. Yeah, I
Mhm.
think that in social today, be, as we listen online, as we consume online, we're looking at, we're seeking out, we're evaluating for authenticity. We're evaluating for our what they're saying and what we're seeing lining up, and yeah, so I think that and then now you're saying then you have to build that out, and that's the little pieces there. So I think that's uh, you know powerful, and that's deep. Yeah, I think some of my other predictions were more tool oriented. Some of those things that are specific to that process. Then.
Amen. And I've seen you, Mike. I mean, you are great at this. You were like one of the first people to invite me to many different apps, like Be Real, I think is one of them, and um, several others. Like you are one of the people that are not afraid to try out different like tools, right, that are out there and evaluate them. Clubhouse was another one, for example, and I loved it. I love the experience, and I think that's another thing, right? Like brands, there's so many different tools that are out there, and they're like, oh, should we show up on Clubhouse? Should we build a strategy for TikTok? Should we you know focus on Be Real? Should we XYZ, right? Like all these tools, because their clients and customers are now going to start segmenting and going into these more niche communities. Discord, there's several of them out there. There's so many more, and they keep growing day by day. And the key, another theme of like Social Media Week Lima, when we talk about dark social, is that many of our customers and even us are going to start using more niche channels to build community and to have this sense of belonging. So, as brands, they have to understand, okay, if we already know what our North Star is and how we're going to outcarry the competition, now we know where we should show up because where our clients are showing up. But even if we're not trying to do all of them, because I don't think they should do all of them or try to do all of them, they should think that we have this good foundation that no matter where our clientele is hanging out, hopefully they're speaking well of us because of the experience that we've already provided to them, and that we are still doing some social listening, and we're still kind of showing up in a way that lets them know that they're being heard. So a couple other predictions, moving into the predictions of what brands can take action on, is one, you have to focus on internal marketing. And what I mean by that is having a plan to take action with your team and culture. And I hate calling it marketing, but it is. Like you have to have a plan to empower your team to be able to communicate and show up for the brand on their own terms. Don't make it a requirement or give them like these have to do's, because that's going to ruin everything, but empower them to be able to show up for your customers where they're hanging out, and empower them by highlighting them, showing them off where you already are hanging out. But you have to think about your current customers, your current team members, your current collaborators, all those people, and have a plan for that already in place on how you're going to connect with them and really highlight them, so that continues to have a ripple effect on everything else that you're doing.
Mm, yes, yes, yeah. If you want to, what we've seen over the past year, just trying to think about even in the past 6 months, getting down to like a nitty gritty. We've just seen the growth of of a specific type of video. So like Reels and TikTok in that regard. Um, I, so I'll keep those together, but I also think YouTube is still highly relevant there, just because more searches are coming. But it's horizontal video, it's a little different kind of thing. But so as we emerge forward, we've been talking about what if companies want to get seen and want to get experience, and what was it? It was Doreen. Um, Maureen, who just put out some statistics on the kind of TikTok algorithm and the greater reach she had as compared to an Instagram reel with a TikTok video. Now, again, both platforms have made incredible advancements in the past year, making it easy to create video for those platforms. With some of the tools that are already there. Um, but it's a great way to showcase authenticity. It's a great way to showcase who you are, to put little clips together just in a format that is desirable to be consumed today if your audiences are there. So I think you're going to continue to see that grow. I mean, Agora Pulse just came out with a TikTok for Business integration. I mean, kudos to them for making that easier. So, we're going to see that grow. Now, I know there's still been kind of, some rumblings about data security with TikTok, kind of with some of its China-based servers and some of those things that may not be done yet, but we'll have to kind of take a look at where that goes and what's happening with that. But some crazy things happening, and those are going to see some growth.
Yes, short form, like video content is still huge. Like we talked about last week, like video, always the year of video, but always the year, I would say, for content that makes you feel more connected to the brand overall, right?
That's
So
important to say.
that's the
Yeah,
key, right? Like it just
yeah.
allows you to
It's not
have
just
a deeper
product
experience.
highlights. Yeah.
Yeah, right? Like it's the difference between sending a text of what you're doing, like if you're texting someone and saying, "Hey, I'm at this football game and blah 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 blah," versus sending them a video or an image of what you're doing there, right? Like they get a sense of the experience, like what you're feeling, all of that. I'm seeing that that's another prediction of where brands need to go is creating their own content, whether it be video, short form video, that's big, imagery. But I also see this trend now with people, especially personal brands, creating content via AI. I don't know if you've seen this recently, Mike, on
I see you're familiar
Instagram
with.
and TikTok and all this, but AI creating some branded content for people. I think we're going to continue seeing that grow because it's personalized. It is the brand. It showcases a little bit of the personality. I feel like all of that is going to and should continue to grow. I am going to share like some of my predictions that I shared from last year for or I should say for this year, but I shared last year that I think are still continuing to grow. And all of these things we've honestly had on the show, which has been great, like live video selling and, creating your own short form content, all of those things that we've talked about here on the show, those are still things to focus on as a brand because this is where we're moving.
Yeah.
But the key that I would hope that if you get anything out of this segment today and where you need to focus as a brand is to first sense before you seize. Sense who you are as a company. Truly get clear on your brand personality and what you care about and where you want to go and who you want to do business with and who you want to work with and how you're going to do that in a way that is exceptional and worthy of being talked about and craveable, and how you're going to build in these utilities that are going to make it easy for people to work with you and want to work with you, and worthy of being talked about later, whether that's the rock climbing walls or whatever it is that you have in your business to keep people coming back. Those things have to be foundational before you use any of the tools and technology that is out there to just enhance it. But that has to be your core first, or you're gonna be left behind, unfortunately, as things continue evolving.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think AI is significant, and we're going to see some things. I mean, there's
Mhm.
there's AI for content writing, different services for that, and it doesn't. It's that whole thing about it doesn't take away the human experience because the best
Mhm.
content blog that's going to be out there may have, it's going to start with the human giving an idea to the AI piece, and then the AI generating piece of content, but then the human kind of doing the final customization of that for who they are, what they are. So I think that there can be
I
some
love that you said
efficiencies
that.
gained with that. Some efficiencies gained with through AI that way, but um, human starting point, human touch at the end is going to be valuable. So I think we're going to see that content writing, AI for social posts, same thing applies. It can help with some ideas. We've seen that with lately, and then, but it's the customization of that personalizes it, that brings out the brand, who they are. I think we're going to see businesses making decisions, or customers, clients making decisions who they want to work with based on the values they see in a company. I think, if is the company green, what do they stand for? That's going to help be a selection. That's part of some of the who the brand is. Some of those pieces are going to be important in the year ahead. I think we're going to see more live shopping. All our guys we've had on this past year,
Yep.
Amazon influencers, those types of pieces. I think that's going to continue to grow, because again, you're seeing a person interacting with something, saying, "Hey, it's me." And you get to know them, and you see what they're doing there. So I think that's going to continue to move forward.
Amen to all that. We've seen AI is only as good as you train it and put into it. And that's with everything else. If we've seen bad technology when you call in and you get rerouted a million times, right? Or just bad experiences, right? You don't want to add AI or marketing or anything on to a bad experience. So
There you go.
again, whatever you're going to create, it has to start from a good foundation, and you're going to have to put your own spin on things, and it can be beautiful, it can be great, utilizing messenger or message chats or whatever to what you're doing, but you have to put some work into it first to help it out. Same with blogging and content. Even I know we've used Jasper.ai personally, and you have to still put in there, like, what are you trying to say? Who's your target audience? What kind of tone of voice are you wanting to get out of this? And what is your overall objective? And you still have to change it, right? And customize it. They just help you kind of sometimes make it more fluid. So it's the emergence of human and AI coming together, where the technique has to come before the tool, and you have to really kind of put this emphasis on knowing what you're trying to get out of it, so you're not just pushing more content out, because Google, all the socials, everything is ranking on sentiment, and everything is being more segmented where the eyeballs are going. So you only have a split second to capture attention. You have to make it good, and you have to make it meaningful. For what purpose am I creating this, and how is somebody going to gain value out of this? Because you got that split second, and they, being the visitor, is going to decide, am I coming back or not to this content, and to have this experience again. So love this conversation. Again, we're going to write a blog of several of our predictions, social channel predictions. We talked about TikTok a little bit here. Definitely think that's going to continue to grow. I think LinkedIn personally is going to continue to grow. Of course, video, live selling on video as it relates to Amazon. I think several different things are going to continue to evolve. Less content on websites, more visual. Building your own utilities on websites. Several different things are going to continue. Having rewards for companies, several different things. Type the word recap. We'll give you that list, though. If you type the word recap in here, it'll be sent to your inbox of all of our predictions. We just want to make sure that you have the foundation right, and you got that part set in play first before you start looking at where else can we show up, and how do we show up, because that's honestly the key. Starting from the inside out, sensing before you seize on what you're going to do for 2023. Mike, I can't believe we've done a full year again of
Wow.
Magnet Marketers.
Another season, another year.
Yeah,
Yes. It's
you
been
got it.
good. And thank
Great.
you, everyone, for just tuning in and for the way they come in, they share, they add value to it. That's been a blast. All the wonderful people that we've hosted, I appreciate all of their time and
Amen.
expertise that they've shared as well.
Amen to that, Mike. We've had many years together. We've continued to evolve ourselves and how we work with others. And I'm so excited to see that continue in 2023. You guys, we have some new things coming with Magnet Marketers in 2023. Again, this is our last show of the year because one, we want to take a break to get ready for next year where we're going to be changing a few things up. We really want to put into play some screen share. So you guys may have seen if you've tuned in to when we're talking about things to showcase how to do the thing. There's going to be more of that next year and a few other little surprises. So we hope you come back with us next year, but we also hope that you take the time at the end of this year to focus on the things that are important, your business, your family, the reset, the recharge, as will we. And we will join you back here in 2023. As always, thank you so much for all of you showing up and how you show up. And Mike, you as well, just being the awesome co-host that you are for, what is this, our 8th year, 9th year together?
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, it's been great. All right, guys, we love all of you. Enjoy the rest of this year. Let us know how things are going and stay connected. And we'll send you an invite when we kick things off next year. Until then, have a great rest of your week, everyone, and we will talk with you soon. All right.
Take
Bye.
care.